So today we'll discuss regarding context-free grammar. So we call it as a CFG, context-free grammar. So before going to discuss regarding the context-free grammar, so we'll discuss regarding what is meant by grammar. So what will be the general meaning of the grammar? It is nothing but a set of rules. We can say that the grammar is a set of rules which we can check whether a string belongs to a particular language or not. So it is a set of rules to check the string so belongs to a particular language or not. So this is the general definition of the grammar. So we can say that it is a set of rules to check whether the string belongs to a particular language or not. Language is nothing but set of strings, we can say that. So now when it comes to CFG, so it is one type of notation which is used to specify the syntax of a language only. So CFG is going to specify the syntax of a language. So whatever the language you chosen, so which we are going to specify the syntax with the help of context-free grammar. And when it comes to context-free grammar, so it will consist the things like terminals, non-terminals, and start symbol and production. So simply we can say that the context-free grammar, so which is a grammar which contains a set of terminals, the non-terminals, and the starting symbol and the production rules. So these all things is available for the given grammar. So generally when you are saying that regarding these terminals, sorry, these parts which are having in contextual grammar, so when it comes to terminal, simply we can say that the token names only. So when the compiler is going to divide the expression into number of tokens, the token names we may call it as a terminals only. And non-terminals, so non-terminals are nothing but we can say that syntactic variables. The syntactic variables we may call it as a non-terminals. And the start symbol is nothing but, so when you are defining the grammar, so it starts with a one symbol, so that symbol we call it as a start symbol. And the production rules, the production is nothing but which is going to specify some of the rules so to define a grammar only. And when it comes to terminals, it may be like the keywords which is having like if, else, and floor braces or brackets. These all things we may call it as a terminals only. And when it comes to non-terminals, so already I told that it is a syntactic variable. Syntactic variables are nothing but like when you are going to define one expression, one statement, under that statement we may find some expressions only. So like expr, stmt, So like that we can find these things. We may call it as a non-terminals only. And when you're going to define a grammar, so one non-terminal is distinguished to the start symbol. So among the list of non-terminals, one non-terminal will be defined as a start symbol only. And when it comes to production, so the production is having combination of non-terminals and terminals only. Okay, and it may having some arrow marks. For example, I can say some small example of production rule. So like some E tends to E plus E. So it is one production rule. It is one production rule. So it may having the expressions, non-terminals, terminals, and arrow mark also only. Okay. So this is the general formal definition of the context-free grammar. We can say that the context-free grammar, which is used to specify the syntax of a language, and it consists terminals, non-terminals, start symbol, and the production. So for example, we are going to define one grammar for the simple arithmetic operators only. So I can define the general grammar for the simple arithmetic operator. So assume it, I'm having one arithmetic expression. It may having the like list id plus minus star slash. Okay, so this is some expression. So for this expression we are going to define the grammar, general grammar. So it may be expression tends to expression plus term. So when you are going to plus, it will be the general expression and general grammar. Similarly, expression, so sorry, expression minus term, and similarly, so the term is also one type of expression only. Expression tends to term. Similarly, term tends to some term into factor. Means these are the general examples. Nothing is there. So or else term tends to term or factor, and term tends to factor, and factor tends to expression, and factor tends to id. So just it is a small example, so which you are going to handle some arithmetic expression. So it may be like expression tends to expression plus term. So with plus operator we can do like that. If it is a minus operator, so we can say that expression tends to expression minus term. If it is a general term, we can say that expression tends to term. So term may be again categorized like term into factor, or else term or factor, or else factor. And factor again it may be an expression or else an id. Id is nothing but the constant. And so this is a general grammar which we are going to define for some of arithmetic operations. So if it is only id, so it is only the constant, and it is only the constant. For this we may define like this. So if it is a plus addition, so you may be like this. Minus, it may be like this. Star, so like slash, so floor brackets, everything is there. So based on the situation we can process the things only. So just the general grammar for this one. So next, notational conventions. So what type of notations we are having, and these things just I'm going to define again. sorry, notational conventions. So what type of notations we are having? So I said that some of the terminals are there, non-terminals are there. So the terminals may be, it may be generally define lowercase letters only. So lowercase letters like A, B, C, etc. These things also we call it as a terminal. Similarly, operators also we may call it as a terminals like plus, minus, star. These all things we can call it as a terminals only. And punctuation symbols. So punctuation symbols also we may call it as a terminals like parenthesis. So parenthesis means nothing, brackets, okay, and commas. So these all things we may call it as a terminals only. Similarly, digits also we call it as a terminals. So digits between 0 to 9 we may call it as a terminals only. And another thing is the boldface strings. So boldface strings are nothing but the strings which are represented in the bold only, like id, if, else. These all things we may call it as a terminals only. So similarly, the symbols which we can call it as a non-terminals. So non-terminals are nothing but generally we can say that uppercase letters only. So if we found any uppercase letters in the grammar, that we call it as a non-terminals. And lowercase italic symbols. So in a grammar you may find some italic symbols only. So lowercase italic symbols we can also call it as a italic symbols. We can also call it as a non-terminals. So if in a grammar, if you found any thing in lowercase and with italic means already you people know the curved strings, that also we may call it as a non-terminals only. And the grammar, when you are mentioning contextual grammar, so just we wrote the grammar expressions only. So like this, like expression tends to expression plus term, like that. So it can be rewritten like this only. So you can also write like this also. Some I can say that E tends to E plus T or E minus T or T. T in the sense terminal, E in the sense expression. Similarly, terminal tends to terminal into factor or terminal or else factor. So similarly, factor it may be an expression within the parenthesis or else id. So the grammar which we can rewrite like this only, which I mentioned in previous slide. Or it may be terminal. When it comes to terminal, it may be T by F also. So division, multiplication, this is plus, this is minus. Okay, so grammar will be rewrite like with the help of these expressions. And next we discuss regarding derivations and derivations. So derivation is nothing but when you are going to derive, finding with the help of parsed tree only. So the derivation of a parsed tree, so we'll discuss regarding the parsed tree. So is the final string is the finest tree obtained by concatenating the labels and concatenating the labels of the leaves and so when we have a parser tree, the tree will be like this. I can say example, some e tends to e plus e, so it may be some a, it may be a. So when I'm deriving a string based on the past tree, okay, that can be done with the help of the leaves and a. So here this is the leaf, this is the leaf, and this is the leaf. So a plus a, I can derive the string a plus a with the help of this past tree. So this is called the general meaning of derivation and we can derive the string with the help of parser tree in two types only. So derivation can be done in two types. One is called leftmost derivation. Another one is called rightmost derivation. So leftmost derivation is nothing but, so the derivation is obtained by applying the production to the leftmost variable in each step only. When you are applying derivation from the leftmost variable, then we call it a leftmost derivation. The rightmost is nothing but by applying the production to the rightmost variable only. So when you are applying the derivation with the help of rightmost variable in each step, then we call it as a rightmost derivation. So we'll discuss with one example how we are going to derive. Means if the derivation done from left to right, then we call it as a leftmost only. If derivation done from right to left, then we call it as a rightmost. So means already you are having one parser tree. With the help of that parser tree, you are going to derive a string. If that string derivation is done from left to right, so left to right, sorry, so left to right, then we call it as a rightmost derivation. If we done right to left, we call it as a rightmost derivation only. We will go with small example on this one. Just a minute. So here we are going to discuss some small example for leftmost and rightmost derivations. So assume it, I am having one grammar like this, x plus x or x into x or x or a. So I need to find the leftmost derivation for the string a plus a star a and a. I need to find the leftmost derivation for the string. So means I need to design a parser tree to derive like this and a. So generally plus operator is there. Plus operator is there. Then I can use, actually this is the start symbol, then I can use this expression. So x plus x. So once we found this one, then a plus a, I'll got it. Next our intention is a plus a, I got it. So next our intention is I need to derive this one. So this is the first step. I can say that x, my intention is I need to take a, first one is a, then x is replaced with a and a. The plus as it will be like this and then x. So now our intention is a plus a into a plus I got, this is a plus I got. Next, our intention is I need to find out a into a. So to find out a into a, then what I'm doing is x it is replaced derived with a plus next x. So it can be expanded to x into x only. X into x. And now when it comes to next step, x will be there, x, a is there, plus x. So it is having x, then further we go with a, it is having star. Next it is having x, further we go with a. So now I am going to add these leaf nodes only. When I add these leaf nodes, means when I derive from left to right with these leaf nodes, then I can get the string called, sorry, so a plus a into a. So this is a string which I derived from left to right hand. The same thing we can go with right to left, means rightmost derivation. So this is an example for leftmost derivation only. So what I did here is, so I supposed to work with this string. So with the help of this grammar, I supposed to derive this string only, a plus a into star. So first you design the parse tree to get plus initially. So I got this one, and then x will be replaced with a plus I got. Next our intention is to retrieve a into a, to derive a into a. For that I can use this term. So x into x I replaced, and then after x is replaced with a, then finally I got this one. So this is about leftmost derivation. So similarly we can go with rightmost derivation. So rightmost derivation. Rightmost derivation for the same string. So a plus a into a. So rightmost derivation means from here to here I supposed to do. So x, then I can show x star x. So then what I am doing is, my intention is I go with x star, x will be replaced with a, means a star I got, a star I got, a star I got. Then what I supposed to take? A plus a. So means x. So this x will be replaced with x plus x only. Then star, then x, then I got a, means a star, a star. Now I supposed to a plus x. So that can be done here. For example, x is there, x plus x is there. These two x's are replaced with a, and then star as it is there. Sorry. So star as it is there, and then x is there, it will be a. Now when I derive from right to left, a star, so it will be a, it will be a star, a plus a star, a plus a. When I derived from right to left, I got like this only. So this is about derivation trees, leftmost and rightmost derivation trees only. Okay. Next we discuss about ambiguity. So ambiguity is nothing but when you are having a contextual grammar, so if you are able to derive the string with more than one derivation, then we call it as a, that grammar is ambiguity only. So sorry. So if a context-free grammar G has more than one derivation tree, for same string, for some string with effect to L of G, so it is called an ambiguous grammar. Sorry, an ambiguous grammar. So if you are having one grammar, I am going to define a derivation tree for a particular string only. If I found more than one derivation tree for that particular string based on the given grammar, then we call it as a ambiguity. So simply I can go with previous example only. I found two derivation trees for the same string, so that's why I can say that the grammar is ambiguous only. Okay, so this is about the context free grammar. So just we'll revise the thing what we discussed. So first we discussed regarding what is meant by grammar only. Okay, so it is a set of rules to check the string belongs to a particular language or not. So which is used to check whether the string whether it is belongs to a particular grammar or not, so particular language or not. And when it comes to context free grammar, which is used to specify the syntax of a language only. And the context free grammar is contains the terminals, non-terminals, start symbol and production rules only. So generally the terminals will be the token names, will call it as a terminals, and the non-terminals will be the syntactic variables and start symbol and the production rules only. So, and we discuss regarding some small example of grammar for arithmetic expressions like id, plus, minus, star, division, parenthesis. For these things we define some grammar and notational conventions we discussed, means what we call it as a terminals, what we call it as a non-terminals. The lowercase letters we call it as a terminals only, and operators also we call it as a terminals. Punctuation symbols, parentheses, commas also called it as a terminations, and digits also we call it as a terminals. And bold-faced strings. So in a grammar, if you found any bold-faced strings, means which is in bold, then also called it as a terminals. And when it comes to non-terminals, the uppercase letters and lowercase italic symbols call it as a non-terminals. And we discuss some small example for the arithmetic expressions, means the expressions which I gave. So again I wrote in a meaningful manner for grammar. And next we discuss regarding the derivations only. Derivation is nothing but finding or deriving a string with the help of parser trees. And when it comes to parser tree or the derivation, it can be done leftmost or rightmost only. So, and we got an example for leftmost derivation and rightmost derivation. This is the examples for leftmost and rightmost derivations for the string a plus a into a. With the help of this grammar, I am going to derive a string a plus a into a, and I draw a parser tree for the given grammar, and I derived the string a plus a into a with the help of leftmost derivation. Similarly, the same string which I derived with the help of rightmost derivation. And next we discuss regarding ambiguity. So in a grammar, if we found more than one derivation tree for the given string, then that grammar we call it as a ambiguous grammar. Okay, so this is about today's class, and next topics we'll discuss in next classes.